Welcome to What's Your Story with Sarah McCopolis. If I say Marco, you say?
Hello.
My name is Ken Bell. I'm your MC in musical entertainment today, and we have a very special guest named Clarence Jorif. He's the president and CEO of Compound Security Services, and he's going to tell us all about his background in law enforcement. Sarah?
Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great show in store for you with an incredible guest, one of my really close friends of over 5+ years. Clarence, thank you so much for joining me here today. Appreciate having you on the show.
It's my pleasure being here with you, Sarah.
So let's go ahead and really dive in. You have an incredible background and story with the Secret Service, and it's so vast. So let's start off with, why did you join the Secret Service in the first place?
Wow. It goes back a lot further than just the Secret Service. Elementary school, Catholic elementary school.
I'm going to learn something new today in our time.
Probably.
Yeah.
My first drug bust was in the 6th grade. Unfortunately, it turned out to be oregano, but it's a lot of adventure.
How did that happen?
No, it was Mr. Lane's class, and one of the other guys he had a little baggie, and it had a green leafy substance in it, and it's like, oh, marijuana. So we told Mr. Lane, he was our science teacher, and next thing you know, we did swarmed. And I reached in there and grabbed the bag and pulled out the bag, and Mr. Laney grabbed the bag from me. Yeah, it turned out to be oregano.
Oh wow, but that was
it's an honorable mention, though.
Yeah. So that's when you knew you were going to get in law enforcement.
Well, I've lived a life of always giving back, and it's a situation of you always have an opportunity to do something for someone else. Mm-hmm. At least that's the way I was brought up. So looking out for myself is paramount, because if I become the first victim, I can't do anything to help anyone else. But it's always giving back through law enforcement as an EMT, just try to live the right way, like the golden rule.
So what kind of training did you get in the beginning?
Wow. Started off in the military.
Okay.
Started off, as a matter of fact.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. Enlisted down in Fort Hood, Texas, and transitioned over to something called Criminal Investigation, CID, and got assigned from Fort Hood to the Netherlands, a 2-man branch office. So we were responsible for all the Netherlands, all of Belgium, and the western counties of Germany, all the way up to the ports. Well, I acquired the nickname RoboCop.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
There wasn't a situation or a crime that didn't go unsolved, and I guess it's just my dogged approach to making a difference. Well, during that time, we had an office inspection, and Master Warrant Officer 5 came in, sat at my desk, was going through my case files, looked me square in the eyes and said, "What's your problem?" I was caught off guard. It's like, okay, when Master Warrant Officer 5 says you have a problem, you have a problem. So I looked at him kind of quizzically and said, "What do you mean, Chief?" He goes, "Where are your papers?" I'm like, "You're looking at my case files now." He goes, "No, where are your warrant officer papers?" So that was his key to me to go from enlisted to the warrant officer side of the house.
Wow.
And I did that, came back to the United States, spent glorious times down at Fort Rucker, Alabama. Got through the warrant officer program, got commissioned as a warrant officer, and it opened a lot of doors, because when I was assigned to a protective services detail that was responsible for protecting the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff. I'm going to date myself now, because that was back in
Hardly.
1989. The Secretary of Defense at that time was Dick Cheney. Mm-hmm. The Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff was Colin Powell. And it just opened so many doors for me.
That's incredible.
I traveled the world protecting those two, started off as a team member, worked my way up to the point where I was actually running details throughout the world, and I got a chance to see the world.
That's absolutely amazing. Now, when you went into Secret Service, what was it like to get that news that you were going into this branch? Not only when you got the news, but the different types of people you were actually assigned to.
Well, it goes back again to that military experience because there came a time when my time in protective services was up. So they said, hey, it's time for you to go back overseas. And I'm like, okay, I'm going back to Europe. No. We're sending you to Korea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no. Didn't lose anything in Korea, wasn't looking for anything in Korea, said no, I wasn't going. They said you got two options, go to Korea or get out. Well, as with everything else in life, you always have to have a plan.
Right.
I wasn't disenfranchised, I wasn't upset because I knew what I wanted to do. So what I did was I went ahead and applied to 3 law enforcement agencies in the Virginia area, Prince George's County, Fairfax County, and Arlington County, but I lived in Arlington County, Virginia. So I got hired by all 3, and it was a real easy transition to go to Arlington. I was there for a period of about 20 months, but it's kind of funny because the psychologist looks at me and goes, I'm looking at all these tests and you riding around in a police car for 8-10 hours a day is going to be old and mundane for you. You're meant to do so much more. Why should I give you the go ahead to do this? And I'm like, you know what? Just give me this opportunity. I want to stay in law enforcement. I want to do the community-based policing. I want to get out there. I want to make an impression on these young kids out there because in Arlington, there aren't too many people who look like me, at least especially in the police department. But the community that we served and the area that I worked in was predominantly black. So he said, okay, I haven't heard that before, so I'll give you an opportunity. Hung around for 20 months because I already had my paperwork into the FBI, Secret Service, and Customs. FBI called first. It was okay, but it wasn't the right fit.
Right.
But since with all my protective service time, I worked with Secret Service all the time at venues where the Secretary of Defense was going to someplace where the President was, Vice President was, a visiting head of state, so it was an easy transition. Plus, I knew all those guys, so I went to the Secret Service, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. You asked about who I protected. My right out of school, it was the end of the campaign. President Clinton was running for re-election, and so I call it Clinton 1. He got re-election, so that was Clinton 2. My next administration was George Bush, local here in Dallas, 1 and 2, and then it was Obama 1, Obama 2, and I finished up on President-elect Trump. 20 plus years went by in a blur, but it was great.
Sure. Which was your favorite president to serve under?
Definitely, President Clinton. He's the charismatic kind of person that he can walk into a room of 100, 200 people, and every person that he met along the line, he would remember that person's name and be able to say, hey, how you doing, so-and-so. It's like, wow, but you just talked to all these other people. How do you still remember my name? He's very, very charismatic. Great president.
That's absolutely wonderful to hear these stories. Now, on terrorism, how did that affect your job? Were there any close calls that you're allowed to share without killing me in the audience that you could partake on?
It's a matter of always having a plan and always being aware. Too often, people go through life with, oh, it's somebody else's problem, someone else will take care of me when this situation, this problem happens. It's like running around with a blindfold and not expecting to trip or fall or have something bad happen. Mm-hmm. You gotta have your eyes open. You gotta be aware of surroundings. It should be human nature to do so, but some folks just, okay, the police will save me, or this agency will save me, or the military will save me. It's a group effort when it comes to, I guess you could say, the fight against terrorism and just law enforcement in general. We all work together as one team to keep everybody safe. So that's something that I've embodied within myself throughout my whole career, and I still do it now. And I continue to give back now because through education and proper training and teaching people to get through that mindset of it's somebody else's job, no. It starts with you. Mm-hmm. Because
I remember one of the first things you told me was always be aware of my surroundings.
Always.
Why don't you tell the audience some of the things that you teach on that, and then what they need to be aware of terrorism here in our homeland, domestic terrorism?
Well, the thing about it is teaching comes through from, as was mentioned, I'm the president and CEO of the compound Roy City, which is a tactical training facility. The mindset behind that tactical training facility is empowering you to give you the skills to take care of yourself. This way you don't become that first victim. To take care of your family, and then to take care of the people around you. But it has to start with you first. Because like I mentioned before, if you become the first victim, you can't do anything for anyone else. Terrorism as a whole, it's not only terrorism, it's just crime is a situation of opportunity so often. People put themselves in situations where they're not paying attention, and the criminal element is out there to prey upon people. Think about, I could say, an African jungle. You have the little Bambi running through the field, yeah, nobody's problem, and then the lion comes and jumps on the deer. Well, that's human nature, or excuse me, that's the animal kingdom nature. Same thing with people. If people see an opportunity to take an opportunity or take advantage of someone else, they're going to do it. Sometimes it's economically driven, sometimes it's opportunity driven, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the necessary steps to be aware of what's going on around you, you've already defeated that, oh, I already see you, so what? And it's not so much confrontational, but it's, they want to take advantage of someone who's not looking for it. So if you already have one leg up, that's where you're ready to deal with anything.
So first thing, don't look like a victim.
No, never. Growing up and being from New York City, it's always a joke that you can always tell the tourists because they're walking around, heads up, looking at all the skyscrapers, and next thing you know, their wallet's gone, their bag's gone, something's gone.
Oh,
Because
wow.
you look like you're out of place. And I'm not saying walk around with your purse like that, but be confident, but don't be the one that sticks out like a sore thumb of, yeah, that's the person that we're going to get next. I'm so grateful throughout my 33 plus year career in law enforcement active, wherein I've worn all three uniforms. I've worn a uniform of a military enlisted officer. I've worn a uniform of a police officer. You call 911, you can guarantee this is the person coming through the door. Well, the problem with that is if they're predisposed to want to cause you harm, you know that they're coming. One of the biggest problems that we have is domestic disturbances, arguments between husband and wife or whoever. Somebody calls 911, someone in law enforcement shows up in uniform. Sometimes the script gets flipped right away because the officer that's coming to quell the disturbance is now seen as the person is actually a part of the problem versus a part of the solution. And that's one of the most dangerous situations that we have to deal with, other than a routine traffic stop. A routine traffic stop is never routine. You don't know what you're going to come across with that vehicle when you make contact. So what I've tried always to do is kill people with kindness. You did a really bad thing, but it's not a matter of putting them down. Sometimes it's elevating them to feel better about themselves too, because people make mistakes. So with the business, we empower people through, primarily we have license to carry classes.
Yeah, I was going to add, go ahead.
Okay. License to carry classes. We have NRA classes. I'm a NRA training counselor, which means I train the instructors who teach the students. Well, I started off as that instructor, but once again, that plan of always wanting to do better and be better.
I took that class with you.
Had fun too.
I did.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
You still need to come back and shoot though.
I
You know
do.
that? Yeah,
I
okay.
do.
Okay. No fun. No worries. But it's empowering you to be able to work within your skill level to build those skills to be better. We also offer self-defense classes from little tykes up to whomever. And the last thing is I'm also a nationally registered EMT, so I teach tactical and trauma medicine, how to take care of yourself when that bad situation does happen, you get hurt or somebody else does.
Now, how do you feel? Oh, well, it looks like we have to go to our next commercial break, so we'll be right back after these messages.
Most people don't plan their financial future because it's complicated. There's so much out there, and I'm here to help you be able to navigate through that and find out exactly what's going to fit right for you. Hi, my name is Sarah Markopoulos. I'm an agent with New York Life, and I office out of Frisco, Texas. When I was a little girl, my father was a life insurance agent out of our hometown where I was born. He was a servant of the people, and I wanted to be that myself and give that to others. I knew New York Life would be the one that could help me do that. It's my clients. Each and every single one of them are different. So I help them not only enjoy the fruits of their labor, but also they'll be able to be secure in their financial future. Because either way, a choice will be made for you, whether you make one for yourself independently or life makes that choice for you. At the end of the day, you'll know you'll be okay. I came to New York Life because I love New York Life. I know what New York Life can provide for you, and I want to be able to be the one to bring that to you.
Thank you and welcome back. So again, I have here with me my really good friend Clarence. We were actually about to discuss some of the things that have been happening here in Texas with a lot of recent shootings that we have been experiencing here. What does your training facility do as far as preparing people for situations like that?
Well, there's actually two sides of the house. One's the tactical training side, and the other side is the compound security services. The compound security services, in conjunction with the compound Roy City, we have specialized training such as active shooter training, emergency preparedness kind of training. These incidents that everyone is blaming guns, it's not the gun. The gun is just like any tool that we have at our disposal. The problem is the underlying factor is mental illness. If someone is predisposed to do